discover purpose and live powerfully. You're watching Destiny Adventures with BMM.
Welcome to Destiny Adventures with BMM. My name is Mark-Mordi, and doing this series has been very interesting and exciting for me. I hope it has been for you too. And I hope you're learning a few things about how to get from where you are to your God-ordained destiny. Last episode, we looked at how to produce by our gifts. And I remember that one of the things that we said is that production by your gift is the only way to produce. And maybe I didn't say this then, but I'd like to reiterate that God put us on earth to produce. And if we don't produce, we will be held accountable. In this episode, we want to look at multiplication. Because when you look at Genesis chapter 1 verse 28, it begins with be fruitful. And immediately after it says multiply. What does it mean to multiply by your gifts? I told us in the last episode that I started to have the talk to become more. And that was God pulling at my heartstring to say it is time for you to begin to produce or to become fruitful. So I started a magazine called Effectual Magazine. It was my first major fruit, the magazine, and we started as a newsletter actually, and ultimately became an international magazine. And before you knew what was happening, we had subscribers around the world. And even now we have subscribers all over the world because we have even transitioned it into a digital magazine. But before we got to the place where we could transition to a digital magazine, remember it was just a newsletter, an 8-page newsletter format. That was what we were doing, and then we'll pack them in packs of 10, and sell at, in those days, 100 naira per pack. And the idea was one woman would buy a pack for 100 naira, take one, and then distribute the other 9 to her friends. How did we get to this place? That was multiplication after fruitfulness. The first thing we did was to produce the newsletter format of the magazine. And then we started to give them out one after the other. Eventually we realized that, okay, sometimes in a month we are only able to reach 60 women. But we thought that if we packed them in packs of 10, and then these 60 women bought a pack each, then automatically we'll be able to reach 600 women. That's what it means when we're talking about multiplication. Because what I find every time when people come to me is, I'm doing this, I want to do something else so that I can grow bigger, or so that my business can expand. And what I usually say to them is, you don't need to do something else. What you need to do is find ways to multiply what it is that you're doing, because God had put that template down already. So if you want to multiply what God has put in your hands and you're already working with, the first thing you need to recognize is God will use what you already have. God is not in the business of changing your gifts. Neither does He want you to change the way you produce by your gifts. The same gift by which you are fruitful can be the same gift by which you begin to multiply. So you look at what you already have, and then you begin to formulate a strategy or a system by which you begin to expand that which you're already doing. A wise man once told me that systems means to save yourself some time, energy, and money. Save yourself some time, energy, and money. And so that's what you ought to do. Look at what you already have and say to yourself, I need a system to spread this message. With Effectual Magazine, we've done that a number of times. We moved from the newsletter to a 100-page magazine, from 8 pages to 100 pages. In moving to 100 pages, it meant that we needed more people to write so that we can, different voices and viewpoints can be reflected in our message. Then we started with producing 1,000 copies. And ultimately right now, we are online for free, which means even if you don't live in the shores of Nigeria, wherever you are in the world, you can still have access to the message of Effectual Magazine. And that means that our reach is expanded, and therefore there is multiplication. The second thing is, after you take a critical look at what you already have, the second thing you need to do is attract the right kind of value with your gifts. What does that mean? Every gift comes with a value proposition. For Effectual, it was to help women discover their purpose and live it. That's what Effectual was about and still is. So what we did was we made sure that the value proposition of the magazine was clear to all who come across it. And we have seen that sometimes we take the magazine to someone, and because she doesn't fall within our target audience, she doesn't buy or she's not interested. And that's okay, because we can't all be called to everyone. But one thing that you can't tell me when you pick up Effectual magazine is that you don't find value in it. Here's the thing, God wants us all to multiply. If you're producing is a good place to be, that means you're fruitful. But beyond fruitfulness is something called multiplication. Because when God spoke to Abraham, he said, I will bless you and make you a blessing. When you begin to produce, you are blessed by God. But when you begin to multiply, that time you become a blessing. So there you have it on today's episode. You need to multiply by your gifts. Never forget that if you want a successful life, then you must discover purpose. Till next week when I'll come your way again, discover purpose so you can live powerful. God bless you.
Till next time, when we continue to learn how to discover purpose and live powerful. Thanks for watching Destiny Adventures with Bidemi.